Assassin's Creed Mirage is one of the best things, if not the best thing, in recent times to happen to the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, I know that this opinion might be a little controversial. This is a game that did not have the best reception, and I'm going to go over why I think that is. I'll go over some problems with the game, but I want to say exactly why, after revisiting this game recently, why I think that this is a huge step in a positive direction for the AC franchise, and why I think that the fact that it didn't do well will really hinder the future of Assassin's Creed and will likely not achieve what most of the longtime fans are looking for now with the game. It'll actually have the opposite effect. So Assassin's Creed is a franchise now that for a long time it's had a fan base of players that want to see the game go back to the old times. They want to see the classic formula come back in a modern sense, right? But since Assassin's Creed Origins, the type of game has completely changed, right? The way the game plays, the mechanics of the game, combat, and the whole flow of the game has drastically changed. My main criticism for the game is most of these games, it doesn't seem like you're an assassin anymore, right? You had Valhalla, where you're a Viking, you're not really an assassin. You had Odyssey, which I thought was a great game. However, you're really not an assassin. I mean, you can play like that, but you're more of like a gladiator. And for a long time, people are just asking, hey, we just want to go back to the regular Assassin's Creed. We want to be an assassin. We don't want to play like a generic combat warrior game, hack and slash. There's a million other games like this already that do it a lot better. Why are we doing this? And in general, there's been this longing and this sentiment in the community for Assassin's Creed to go back to their roots. And Assassin's Creed Mirage was an answer to that. It was, in a sense, an attempt to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed. And I will be the first to admit I am one of those people that would like to see the game go back to its roots. And I am one of the people that, I didn't buy Assassin's Creed Mirage when it came out. I did the Ubisoft Pass thing for a month to see if I would like it because I just don't trust Ubisoft. Half the things they put out are just not even playable. I don't like their monetization practices and so on. But I gave it a shot and I really didn't like the game. I played it for a week and I was done. I didn't even get through like halfway through the game and I was already fed up with it because they had that same combat formula. A lot of people want Assassin's Creed to go back to that flow they used to have where enemies are a lot less spongy, right? Nobody likes spongy enemies. You don't want to hit the same enemy a million times like an Odyssey and have this RPG level cap mechanic where if you're one or two levels under the opponent, no matter how many times you hit them, you won't be able to kill the enemy. They don't like that. There are other games out there that are like that and they do it better. Most Assassin's Creed fans don't want the game to be like that. And Mirage was supposed to be a throwback to the originals. It was supposed to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, and in a way, it didn't. And my first impression was, oh great, look, health bars. Oh great, I'm hitting the same enemy a million times again, and they're not dying. It's the same damn game, the same thing we've been complaining that we don't want to see in Assassin's Creed's games anymore. They're doing the same thing, and I just never looked at it again. I revisited the game this year because of the announcement of a permadeath mode for the game, which I was very excited about. And I went ahead and bought the game at a discount. It was on the PlayStation Store. That's why they don't have footage for the game, because I didn't do it for PC. I just did it for my PS5. But I recently went ahead and purchased the game half off. I got the deluxe edition, which I've chosen opt out to use any of the deluxe weapons. I don't like anything that makes it easier for you, especially if you're playing a mode that's supposed to be immersive permadeath. So the way the permadeath works, right, is if you're playing through the game, you die one time, you have to start the entire game over. For a lot of people, that might be a total turnoff. A lot of people might not be into that. It's too harsh. They don't want to restart the game. But let me tell you that this mode alone, combined with this game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, has completely restored my faith that there is a possibility for the Assassin's Creed franchise to go back to being good, and not just good. Dare I say that Assassin's Creed Mirage with permadeath on Master Assassin, the hardest difficulty, is the most fun I have ever had with the Assassin's Creed franchise. Keeping in mind, I've played every single game they have ever made since the very first one. I actually replayed recently the older games. I went back and played 1. I played the Ezio collection. 3 I never liked. I played Black Flag. I played Unity. I went back and got nostalgic for the old games after playing Odyssey. And I went ahead and realized that unfortunately, they are correct to an extent to change the formula a little bit. I understand that the new games don't capture the magic that the old ones seem to have, but if you go and play the old games right now, I don't think you will have as much fun as you remember having. I played through all of them, my favorite being Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and they're still good, but they're definitely games that are products of their time. They are not games that hold up with the times. Unfortunately, the combat in Assassin's Creed is just too easy. They're just too easy of games. The whole point of a stealth game is you're supposed to be an assassin that is very good at one-shotting people. You get in, you get out, and you have to run if things get bad. But in the original Assassin's Creed, you can fight off an entire army just by counterattacking. And it completely defeats the essence and the purpose of the game. And it doesn't really feel like an assassin game. It feels like a god game where you're just an unkillable god that just spams parries and kills everybody with one shot. They are not fun. In fact, if you play the Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection games, pretty much all enemies instantly die to the Hidden Blade. The Hidden Blade is the best weapon. What is the point of even having a sword? What is the point of having a knife? All these cool alternative weapons? There is no point if at the end of the day, the Hidden Blade is just the best weapon. I played again through all the Assassin's Creeds, and they are completely pointless. Furthermore, I only like the vibe of the first game. The aesthetic, the clothing of the assassin, and that whole vibe was designed to be in that Jerusalem area, wherever it is, and it fits with that vibe. He blends in with priests. It makes sense why he's dressed the way he is. In all the following Assassin's Creeds, the way the characters are dressed, usually, that whole white robe just doesn't fit in with the aesthetic. In Assassin's Creed Mirage is the first game where it actually seems to fit in the way you're dressed. It's a throwback to that Middle Eastern era and area, and the whole clothing that he's wearing, the scarf and everything is brilliant. It's incredible. The design for Basim's clothing and the way he's dressed is absolutely incredible. It fits very, very well with the aesthetic of the game. It is a more toned down, simplified look that reminds me of the first game, and it really fits in. Aesthetically speaking, the game is beautiful. Now, let's start by talking by gameplay, okay? This game, if you actually take the time and immerse yourself to play it, you will see how fun it is. And you gotta have permadeath on because it'll really make you think about everything you're doing. Before you go invade a fort to assassinate someone, you will scout the entire fort. You will move in very strategically. You will move in with care because if the alarm goes off, if you piss, one guard can end up killing you. It's that hard, right? A couple guards, you're screwed. You have to run away. You have to play the game with a lot of care. Now your notoriety is up and random citizens are denouncing you in the street, or you're trying to invade a fort and you go next to a citizen and now a citizen saw you commit a murder. Now they're telling on you and the guards are coming after you. It is absolutely incredible. It is as incredible as the franchise has ever been. And dare I say, Mirage, with this mode, as Master Assassin mode, the hardest mode, along with permadeath mode, is the most fun and engaging Assassin's Creed has ever been, because for the first time, you're actually playing a stealth game. For the first time, you're actually an assassin, not some sort of legendary swordsman that just kills everybody by constantly parrying every attack. Go back and play the old Assassin's Creeds if you don't agree with me. You're going to see the game is going to get boring really quick. They're products of their time, right? And I understand not liking health bars, but even on Master Assassin, most of these enemies are not that spongy. You know, it's not like Odyssey. Odyssey was tough because it was a fun game, but yeah, the enemies were really spongy. It's really annoying. The enemies on this game are not spongy at all. The only criticism I really have for this game is that it's a little too short. But honestly, what do you expect? Everybody's been complaining. One thing I've never complained, but everybody's complaining, is that the Assassin's Creed franchise is making games that are too long. Like if you look at a game like Odyssey, the game is massive, and unfortunately it's not engaging enough to make you want to play through the entire game. This game, Mirage, if it was massive, I would play through the entire game in this mode because it is that engaging, right? And I don't think that the problem is that the game is long. I don't agree with the people that are complaining about that. I think it's long with not enough engaging things to do and content. But also at the same time, what do you expect? People have been complaining for so long that the games are too long for their own good. So they went ahead and they made a shorter game. And now the people are complaining that the game is too short. Like, I understand not liking Ubisoft. I understand being tired of the formula. I understand having nostalgia for the old game and wanting it back. I understand that. But we got to also be careful not to criticize every single thing a company does and not recognize when there is some positive in there and when they do things that are really reminiscent of the old aesthetic vibe. And honestly, it more than captures the original game. It actually surpasses it. When it comes to the stealth gameplay and the way you have to strategize invading these forts and the assassinations, the layout of the guards, it's intense. It's because most people don't play this game with permadeath. They just walk in and kill everybody. The game is not meant to be played that way. Unfortunately, Assassin's Creed games are too easy, so that's how everybody ends up playing. But if you actually have to care about what you're doing, and you're halfway through the game, and if you die, you have to start all over, you're going to play completely different. You will be 100 times more immersed in the game. You're going to be like listening to everything that the guards do. You will be super careful with every assassination that you do. You're actually going to have to scout the map. You won't be able to fight off an entire army. You're going to have to run away and hide. It's the way the game was actually intended to be played. Mirage is the best thing the Assassin's Creed franchise has ever done. And it really makes me sad that so many people disliked it. And it makes me sad for myself because I was one of those people that played the game and immediately put it down. I didn't give it the difficulty, the care, the time, and the level of immersion it probably deserved. And honestly, with this new mode of permadeath, I re-invite you to play the game. And I promise you, if you're into stealth games, this is one of the best stealth games you will ever play. But it has to be on Master Assassin, the last difficulty, and it has to be with permadeath. That will change the way you play, and you will see what I mean. You're going to be playing with utter caution. You're going to actually have to use your brain to do different things. It just creates such fast heart rate moments, such tense encounters and things that it's the best this game has ever been. And I just replayed all the games, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is as good as this franchise has ever been. Why did people not like this game? I think people went ahead, didn't play on the hardest difficulty. They played it like they're used to playing the old games, just try to walk up to anybody and fight them. And they're not playing with permadeath, so nothing they really do really matters. But you know what? If you play it the way I'm suggesting you play it, you will find that it's extremely compelling, and not just the gameplay. Let's just talk really quick about the aesthetic of the game. We actually went back to the Middle East. We went back to a region that is incredibly cool. Yes, a lot of people were complaining it's not a city. We want the game to go back to being a city. We don't want an open world. But this is not that much of an open world. It is compressed enough to where it feels like a city. It's not quite a city with the super tall buildings that a lot of people seem to like, but that also makes the game harder. It's faster for the guards to come after you. They can't climb over these huts and things like that. It makes the game more difficult. And seriously, it fits a lot better with the aesthetic. I love Basim. I like the characters in this game a lot, especially your master assassin, the woman, I forget her name, that raspy voice of hers. The voice actress that does that character is incredible. I love that voice actress. And Basim is a cool enough character. I like him too. I like the Middle Eastern setting. I like the clothes. I really like the fact, because honestly, I liked Ezio too. But if you play something like Odyssey, and they let you in most of these games, they let you wear Ezio's robes, and you put it on, you will feel so out of place. Like in all of these games, Ezio's clothes and a lot of the assassins' clothes, they just did too much. You don't really blend in wearing those clothes. It doesn't really feel like you're an assassin. It feels like you're cosplaying. It feels like you're in a carnival, like you're in some sort of parade. You would stand out in that crowd. At least in, like, say, Unity, a little bit of the aesthetic of the clothes that you're wearing kind of fit in, but even then, you stand out from everybody else. It doesn't make sense what you're wearing. It made sense in the first Assassin's Creed because of the setting where the game is happening, because you're blending in with priests that wear similar robes. It looks apart. And Assassin's Creed Mirage is the first game where I actually feel like the clothing actually fits the aesthetic of the game. Like when you first start this game and you get the robes and you actually become an assassin. First of all, the origin story of this character, fantastic. Like I replayed Unity and the origin makes no sense. This guy just joins the assassins just because, with no cause. It's super stupid. Most of these games have a really dumb origin story. This game actually has a story. Basim has a reason for why he wants to be part of the Hidden Ones, why he wants to be an assassin. It shows you his training, his development in a way that doesn't feel dragged out. It's an incredible start of a game and an incredible narrative direction for the entire game. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. There's a lot of people that hated this game and hated the series, but man, I'm always going to be honest, and I'm just telling you like it is. I love this game. You show up, you know, you're wearing those robes that remind me a lot of the Altair robes. They're cooler than the Altair robes. They're as cool as these robes and the clothing of the assassin has ever been. And you roll up with the scarf in the desert. You're riding a camel. Totally fits in with the atmosphere. You're in the middle of a desert. The sun is shining on the sand. You can see the tracks on the sand. You come into town. You start investigating, exploring. It's so immersive. If you actually give this game the time and the seriousness it deserves, I promise you, if you like stealth games, you will enjoy this game. This game deserves a revisit, and it deserves a reevaluation from most people. If you like Assassin's Creed, if you like the original games, you will likely like this game. The only people that wouldn't like this game are people that see the health bars and instantly assume, oh, this is just another Origins, this is just another Odyssey, this is just another Valhalla game. It's not. The enemies are not that spongy, even on the highest difficulty. The only enemies that are very spongy, which are some of those elite warriors that come after you when your notoriety is super high, it's because you're supposed to get killed. It's supposed to be really difficult to take them on. You're an assassin. You're like a glass cannon. You're not supposed to be an all-powerful god that can defeat an army by yourself. So you are intended to run away from them. You're not intended to pick or take these fights. That's the way the game is supposed to work. This is a stealth game. So again, I invite you to play permadeath in this game on Master Assassin. Scout out everything that you're doing before you go into a mission and you go and start just killing people randomly. Go ahead and use your eagle. Scout out the positions. Think out a strategy before you invade a fort. Take it slow, one by one. I was spending like an hour on each of these missions or more. Right? And because sometimes I would fail and I'd have to run away, hide to get my notoriety down. I was running out of money, which is never an issue in Assassin's Creed games. I love running out of money and like having to rob people or loot chests because I need to refill my elixir. Otherwise, I'm going to get one shot and die and have to restart the entire game. You actually have to care about all the systems and everything the game throws at you, and you actually have to play the game the way it was intended to be played. This is as difficult and engaging and beautiful and incredible as the Assassin's Creed franchise has ever been. Give it a shot one more time. Play it the way I'm telling you. You might surprise yourself.